Hi, everyone, and welcome to Youth Amplified,
a podcast that inspires, empowers, and connects. I'm Brian.
And I'm Ronna. And in the spotlight today, leadership, using your voice, speaking up even when it's hard.
Well, we're joined at the table today by Lucille, Jacob, and Rotary District Governor Renga Rajan. So welcome everyone to our podcast.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having us.
it's an interesting panel, Ronna, so let's kick it off.
Let's do that. Lucille, you're first. Huh? Lucky first. Yeah. Now, as a leader, how did you first realize that your voice has power and responsibility?
So I kind of look at back at when I first took up a leadership role, which was back in high school. And one of them, I was doing a volunteer club for SCARF, if you know it. And that was basically teaching refugees, with helping them with their homework, essentially. And I went from just volunteering to then being like a leader and management in that role. And when I saw the people I inspired and got people to join and help and raise money for it, that showed me how powerful you can be just by simple actions every day that you do.
No, absolutely. And what about you, Jacob? Do you want to add to that?
I think leadership comes in so many different forms. Leadership can be as simple as mentoring your siblings. And I think it's that aspect that can really shape and really form your voice when you grow and kind of mold yourself into a leadership role. And I kind of reflect back to my childhood. I grew up to a single mother with with two other siblings, and I was the oldest, so I had to step up in that role and step up and really show leadership from such a young age. And I think it's something that's not really acknowledged or something that's looked at in leadership, is that youth wing of it where you kind of grow up in it and you learn on the job.
No, Ranga, going over from what Jacob said about finding your voice, finding your voice isn't always easy, Ranga. Who or what helped you sort of build that confidence?
Thank you very much for inviting us to this podcast. It's a good question. The finding the voice is already within yourself. That once you have the confidence, you need to come out. Yeah. I can give my own as example. I was a very shy person till 1996, and someone find out me that you'll be a good leader. Because I am a very shy person. I came from this small background. I have 13 friends. I thought that is the world. Yeah. But somebody has identified my potential. Then only I realized why this fellow, because I never met the fellow, but he came all the way. Then he said, okay, we are going to start a new organization. You want to be part of the team. I said, no, my brother is a good man and probably you can talk to him. What he said is, if I want to talk to your brother, I can talk, but I can find the power in your eyes. I thought that he is prizing me. Then I realized, after that I went to my home. Then I literally go and stand in front of the mirror. Then only I realized, yeah, I have power. Then from that day onwards, I realized my potential. Then I can open up. And I worked very hard because I have to come out from the shell. It's not easy. Then once I become a leader, I can't able to proudly say as a leader because I need to be a good listener.
100%.
First jump into the shoe to understand the issue. So that's where I develop my skills, be a good listener. Then we need to give the solution for that.
All right, Jacob, over to you. When you were starting out as a leader, younger leader, how much difference, according to you, does it make to have a team behind you?
I think it matters immensely. Even in my role as the president of a Rotary club, I'm only as good as the team that I have. My executives are the reason why we're doing so much helping other community organizations. And I think there's a lot of leaders that don't acknowledge that don't thank the people that helped bring them along. And I think it's those people that bring you along that can actually push the message or grow what you're trying to do.
Now, Lucille, if leadership gave you a superpower, what would it be, and what would be your superhero name?
I would jokingly say talks a lot because I talk a lot. But not only that, probably something to do with like listening and even like empathy.
What about you, Jake? Let's chuck it.
Don't put me on the spot. That one's a pretty hard question.
You could think of like what the power would be, but the name of it, that's the pressure, isn't it?
See, my superhero is my dad. Because I came from a big family. I have 5 sisters and my brother. On top of it, my dad is having 2 sisters and 2 brothers. So altogether, we have 11 people.
Wow.
But he was the only earning member. And I learned a lot of things from my dad.
All right, we'll move on to Lucille. I've got a question.
Okay. Well, that's not again, or I'll just lean over there.
As leaders, always under the spotlight. Okay, so have you ever felt pressure to lead in a way that didn't sit with your values? And how did you push back?
So that's a tough one to answer because typically when I take on responsibility or role, I'm always picking something that I want to do because there's so many things you can do and spend your time doing. You should do what you're passionate, what you're interested in.
There's just one point I would add is I think if it's something that goes against what you believe in, I feel like as a leader, you should be able to say, I can't give the best of myself to this project, say.
Yeah.
I, as someone who respects it too much, will step away and allow other people to lead. Because I think you, as a leader, you can empower others to lead through stepping back from something that you might not be as passionate about, but they might be. Maybe you can mentor them to their full potential to do that role, that project to the best of their ability.
And Renga, in your opinion, for young people, what's the toughest barrier you see for them trying to turn their passion into real change? And how would you break it down?
I'm coming from the previous generation. We come as a Gurukul system. That means step by step. Whereas now the young kids, they want to jump from 1 to 50, 50 to 100. Their expectation is too high. Sometimes if you can't able to meet the expectation, they fall down. So what I'm expecting or what my advice to the young people is, you need to understand the situation. It's not, for example, you are a young person like 19, 20 years. Tomorrow if you got a promotion to become a manager, and you can't expect the general manager in another 2 years time. If you got, it's good and well and good. If you can't able to do it, then you need to work. You need to work for the organization to prove yourself. Then obviously you need to compete with other people. Then the organization will choose you as a general manager or manager. So we need to, if you have a minimum expectation, then you can grow fast. If you have a big expectation, if even is a small failure, you can fall down.
I think for young people trying to get into leadership, there's a big stigma that young people can't lead.
Yeah, I've
That
heard of that.
young people are unexperienced, that they don't have the life skills or the acumen to step up and give back or step up and lead a group of people. I think that that stigma has held a lot of good things back. And I, in my current role, am the youngest person. In my last 2 roles, I've been the youngest person in the office. And I've been in various organizations where young people don't really play a role. I worked for the Catholic Church. That's usually not a role a young person works in. And for me to come into a role and to essentially lead a bunch of projects in such an organization that's, I kind of ferry around this role archaic,
Yep.
is to a lot of the people in senior positions is shocking, and they're kind of conservative in their ways and don't want to see progress because it's not coming from who they like.
switching tracks a wee bit.
Very sorry.
No, wait, just a wee bit. What's your sort of go-to song? What's your pump-up song? Or piece of music? Or
Like me or
you? Yeah, you.
I was like, I'm on the spot again for a fun I personally listen to a lot of foreign music and indie artists, and like two artists I like is a Japanese artist called Eve and an indie artist called Unlike Pluto. And to me, music is just about, I like the emotions and the ideas and what it brings. So I personally just listen to one of those songs and they can hype me up or get like the nerves out.
I might be very generic in saying this, but my go-to song to pump up, to get ready for something is Eye of the Tiger. I recount various times I've been driving to an event or something very important. I put on Eye of the Tiger. It always gets me in a good mood. I always feel like, I can achieve what I want to achieve because of that song.
Good classic, good
It's very good.
What's yours, Brian?
I've got to agree with Jacob. I love Eye of the Tiger or the Final Countdown.
Classic.
Has that thing?
It's got that pumpiness to it.
I think it's because of all the movies where they're like at a boxing scene.
That's right.
Maybe, yeah.
What about you?
I think, don't laugh, Katy Perry, Firework. That always lets me,
Yes.
I can tackle anything.
Yeah.
Jacob, how do you balance being the person who speaks for others while still giving them the space to speak for themselves?
I think I'll kind of take that question in a different space. I think a leader isn't loud, isn't over the top. I think a leader actually whispers, and you allow the people that are following you or want to follow you to listen to those whispers, to show that intrigue, to show that angst, to get among it, and to really give back. And I think we live in such a society where we're crowded with so many voices, and I think it's hearing a voice that kind of sells to you or kind of ticks in. You have a light bulb moment where you say, that's someone that I think can lead me, but also teach me and allow me to be a leader. I think that's a massive part to it.
Yeah, no, true. Very true.
Jacob, another question for you. I think this is a good one. How can young people channel their voices to create real change in their schools or communities?
I think really having conviction on issues that matter to them.
Great.
A lot of young people, not my age but younger, there's a lot of decisions being made right now that will affect us in the future. And I think a lot of young people are having an opinion on it, but they're not having the conviction or the follow through with it. They're thinking it's too hard. But I think we need people and mentors and people around them to show them that stay with it.
Great.
Your ideas mean something, and you can achieve a good outcome if you stick your guns to it and show people that you won't back down because this is something you believe in very passionately.
Well, we could keep on discussing this, but the clock tells me otherwise. So thank you, Lucille, Jacob, and Renga for being with us today.
Till next fortnight, let's continue to inspire, empower, and connect. And remember,
Your voice matters.